Hello and welcome to my channel. I'll be talking about the self-healing properties of Bhramari Pranayam and how you can utilize this as a preventive measure against COVID, that is even the new strain. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is Bhramari Pranayam and nitric oxide. That is the gas that is going to generate, and which is why it is so effective for the first half of the video. And there is a timestamp below if you already have the information. If you're just here for the guidance of how to actually practice it, then that's in the second half of the video. I'll lay down a timestamp. You can just go directly to that time and you can start watching from there. Okay, for those of you who are interested in the information, the key information, then let's begin with that. So let's get into the gist of nitric oxide and its importance and its role in this whole dynamic of understanding how Bhramari Pranayam is effective against corona. Okay, so nitric oxide is a colorless, odorless gas, and it is produced in various pathways, but mainly and highly produced in the upper respiratory tract. That is why we are understanding the upper respiratory tract in so much detail. So the upper respiratory tract is basically divided into the pharynx, the larynx, and the paranasal sinuses. Okay, so you need to remember this paranasal sinuses because it's very, very important. It plays a very key role in this. So the paranasal sinuses are further divided into frontal, ethmoid, sphenoid, and maxillary sinuses. Okay, you don't have to remember this part. Okay, so what happens is the roof and the side walls are the openings. Okay, the roof and the side walls, and through this air is passed in and out, right? So this is now covered with something called as cilia, C-I-L-I-A, and these are like hair-like structures which are in our nasal cavity, and it is the most prominent feature right now, and I need you to remember this. This hair-like structure is going to change these whole paradigm of how helpful nitric oxide is for us. Okay, so in Bhramari, what we'll be doing is we're going to have that the elongation of that exhalation. So that is where the maximum amount of nitric oxide is produced. This nitric oxide is generally very beneficial for us because it keeps our epithelial cells healthy. But the major property that we are focusing upon is its property of host defense against bacteria, virus, fungi, and production of tumor cells. So its antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial property is why we are mainly focusing our entire attention on this nitric oxide. Okay, the more of nitric oxide there is in a system, the lesser of these will affect us. So we'll have a fighting chance against anything that comes into our system, right? So these are breachers, and that is how we are going to strengthen our immunity, strengthen our respiratory system with the help of nitric oxide. And the upper respiratory tract, remember we spoke about cilia. So nitric oxide is what creates the ciliary motility. Okay, and that means the movement of the cilia, right? It enables it, it helps it. Okay, it eases that part of our entire nasal cavity, and when that is happening, more mucus is generated and released. All the toxins are able to go out of the system, and we are able to guard ourselves from anything that is going to attack us from outside as well. That is why cilia is so important, and cilia motility is increased with this nitric oxide. So that is the relation. And another thing about nitric oxide is, it, like I said, it is highly generated as we exhale through our upper respiratory tract, which the Bhramari does. Additional thing that the Bhramari does is we are humming when we are doing Bhramari Pranayam. This humming sound that comes through our larynx, right? So it is also strengthening our larynx. It causes air oscillations. And this air oscillation, what it does is it increases the exchange of gases. and that means the exchange of nitric oxide too. So that is how altogether Brahmari is so beneficial for us, because Brahmari works on this humming plus increasing the amount of nitric oxide because of the elongated exhalation, right? The prolonged exhalation helps us produce more of nitric oxide, and nitric oxide in turn is very helpful because it has this element of host defense. Okay, so you get the gist. So this is how the entire process of Brahmari Pranayam is so beneficial for us, and it's a preventive measure. Not to say that the other preventive measures shouldn't be taken while you're doing Brahmari Pranayam. You should do it alongside with Brahmari Pranayam, and that's how you can be more stronger and more healthier. And also it's a very good relaxant. Brahmari Pranayam itself withdraws us from a senses, so you will be so much more in tune with yourself. And if you are feeling very, because of corona happening, if you're feeling very agitated, and the news isn't doing good to you, then it's best to do Brahmari Pranayam as much as possible at this moment. But I would like to emphasize that you should be doing Brahmari Pranayam in the morning and evening 5 times at the least, okay, to say. And also that do not try to extend your capacity, your lung capacity in one day. Don't try to go too far with it as well. In moderation, everything done in moderation is good. So keep it that way, okay? And if your body is slow in understanding all these things that you're doing, then take it slow as well. So anyway, so let's get on with how to practice Brahmari Pranayam now. Let's begin by stretching your legs out. Now place your left leg onto the perineum that is closer to your sit bone, and fold your right leg and place it right on top of that left leg. This posture is known as Siddhasana. These postures in yoga help us to contain that energy that is produced during your meditative practices or your pranayam practices. If you cannot, it's alright to sit in a sofa or a chair. Gently close your eyes and set an intention before your practice. This is an amazing initiative for gaining perspective on how you want this practice to make you feel, maybe calmer. Move front and back to find your center. Roll your shoulders back and relax the shoulders, but keep your spine erect. Please keep in mind that all breathing takes place through your abdomen, not through your chest. Let's begin with the hands. You're going to place your 4 fingers inside your ears and start the Brahmari Pranayam with a humming sound. This humming sound is produced from the abdomen region. Next, you can also use a different way, that is, close your eyes as well as your ears. This way you are more inward than the latter. For beginners, let's start it easy. So let's just close our ears and start with the humming sound. As I said, you're going to breathe in deeply and your exhalation is going to be longer in the Brahmari. So take a deep breath in and exhale with the humming sound of a black bee. This humming sound can scale up gradually. So you don't have to start off strong. You can start gradually and then hit a strong high note and then release slowly. Please keep in mind your posture as you're doing this. Internally, feel your back. If it's straight, feel the voice right? The sound that is being created, feel it in your head region. Your whole attention needs to be in that voice. After you've mastered that first initial phase, we can move on to the next phase, that is using Shanmukhi Mudra with Bhramari Pranayam. This mudra is specifically used with Bhramari Pranayam to help withdraw from the senses. We move into the stage of yoga called as Pratyahara when we use this stage. That is detaching from the outside and moving closer to the inside. Keep in mind of how your hands are sitting by your side. Have it parallel to the ground, horizontally placed. If it's drooping, understand it within and raise it higher. In Shanmukhi Mudra, your little finger is above your upper lip, ring finger on either sides of the nostrils, the middle finger on the bridge of the nose, above the eyelids, and your forefinger also above the eyebrows or eyelids. When you're doing Shanmukhi Mudra, there is a higher sense of concentration, and with this mudra you can regulate the inflow and outflow of the breath. The ring finger that is beside your nostrils, you are going to open it up a little bit, make some space for breathing in, and while you exhale out, again make space so that you can exhale out. Gently press the eyelids, do not put much pressure during this time. Take a deep inhalation through your abdomen. As you exhale, make the Bhramar sound. Again, take a deep inhalation through your abdomen. As you exhale, make the Bhramar sound. Internalize. Put your attention on the voice, the vibrations that are taking place throughout your head region. As you exhale, gradually let the air flow out of your body completely, out of your abdomen. Deep inhalation again through the abdomen, through the nostrils. Let the air oscillate, vibrate, and let the humming sound soothe and calm you down. With this, we end our practice. Thank you for practicing this with me. I honor your presence. I hope this makes it to your daily routine. Please like and subscribe for more such content.